Well, we're back at it. We have the driver's side lower control arm all ready to go. We have the passenger side that we still have to take off. And as you can see underneath, you have the suspension arm that we have to remove. Most of everything is done. In the previous video, I did remove the sway bar end link that is over there on the floor right there. So without further ado, let's continue. Oh yeah, it's Cars with Abe. I'm Abraham. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you aren't, and you're coming back for finally a Ford video, welcome. Anyways, enough talking, let's go ahead and get to it. We have to get PB Blaster in, and first things first, have to take out this little shield right here so we can go ahead and get that spring compressor in and make sure that this upper control arm does not shoot down once we remove the lower control arm. Alright, and the shield is off. So in the previous video, I told you guys I cleaned the shield. This is the shield to the driver's side right here. It looks amazing, honestly, and we just cleaned it. We didn't paint it or anything like that. Hopefully you can get a good angle at that. But this is to show you the difference. Look at that. That's insane. For the most part, the paint is in great shape. It doesn't look like that with all this dirt and grime, but they clean up very nicely, surprisingly. So now the next part is putting these spring compressors back on to the passenger side of the car, and it's not really the most fun part of this job. It does make me feel a little sketched out using these still. But the last side went perfectly fine, so no one died, and that's a plus. Let's get to it. These things, these little lock pins, they don't feel like they would save me if anything happened, but surprisingly, they're really tough. I mean, they don't look it, but obviously a company wouldn't design anything if it wasn't capable of handling it, I'm sure. All right, we got this side in. We need to get the other side. Good to go. Okay, so now we have the spring compressed just enough so that way it doesn't go plop. And then now we just need this suspension bar off right there. 2 bolts down there, if you can see that. We already have the bolt off for this right here in the bushing, so we're almost done. It's so much easier when we actually know what we're doing, because the other side, it kicked our butts. But it was the first time ever doing it, so you know what? You learn a lot the first time, but now this is the second time and it's going a lot smoother, a lot quicker. Got it out. Look at that thing. All we have left to do is the control arm now. Moving along. Oh, just fine. All right, just a quick side note. Now that we have this off, this bolt here on this tension arm or suspension arm, it is pretty much welded in there. So we put some PB Blaster on this side of it. I wasn't able to get PB Blaster on this side of it before, so hopefully let it soak and we can free that up from some gunk or whatever. If not, no big deal. I was already planning to just refurbish this a little bit nicer anyways instead of getting a new one, so we shouldn't have another problem going back together with it. But other than that, they look pretty good. This bushing surprisingly looks all right. I mean, yes, it's old, it's dirty, it's really hard actually, but it's honestly, it's not even torn. See, that's pretty cool. I swear, PB Blaster, come on, paid product placement. This is not for sure, but we use this a lot. And another note, please forgive me in the not so gracious poses that I have to get in and positions that I have to get in to get these lower control arms out. I know that's probably what you guys don't want to see, so sorry about that, but there's probably going to be a little more of that. We're working on cars. Oh well, I do apologize for that 100%. But now we have the rear lower control arm bolt loose. It's still in the frame there. And now we have to get the ball joint bolt right here. As you can tell, I also covered this in PB Blaster, and get this cotter pin out, get this bolt, and hope and pray. All right, so we have the ball joint nut off, ready to go. We have this back nut and bolt off, ready to go. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and start hitting this with a hammer right around here, because last time, boy oh boy, was it hard to get this lower control arm off, because it was like welded onto there. But let's go ahead, give it a whirl. Done. Well, not exactly, but man, I'm so glad we are replacing these. They're so old. I mean, look at this ball joint. This one was actually not too bad. There's obviously nothing in it, but considering like centuries of being on this car, probably kind of not too bad. I was expecting both of them to look more like this, where it's just complete like pancake and it's all friggin' busted. Look at that. All right, so get to unbox the last one finally. New. That bushing looks nice as opposed to these right here. Back in we go. Got the new one in for the ball joint. Now we got to align this one up right, and it's already installed. At some point in time in my life, I just know that I'm gonna get a lift. I just have to get a lift. Creeping and crawling around the car is a little much nowadays for us, but bolt at a time. All right, that one's on, that one's finished. Now we need the cotter pin. We're just about done for this video. There we go. I really appreciate the fact that they give you a brand new cotter pin and a brand new bolt. Now I know most companies do for newer vehicles and whatnot, but older vehicles like this Ford, I wasn't so sure that they would do that, but it's awesome that they did. And the cotter pin goes. And cotter pin is installed. And you just have to get that shot. There you go, brand new lower control arm on the passenger side and the driver's side. Looking pretty mint, I tell you what. It's all about a little at a time. All right, so next up real quick, we're gonna kind of just do a sneak peek. I know this video is probably gonna turn out shorter than what I'd like. What we're gonna do is we're gonna buff this up just a little bit with the buffer, metal grinder, whatever you wanna call it right here, the steel wheel there. And it should look pretty cool, but it's just gonna be a sneak peek because we are gonna finish it up. We're gonna probably paint these to make them look brand new, even though they're obviously not brand new, but I feel like it will give that nice character underneath, and to match the brand new lower control arms on the vehicle, it would just look a lot cleaner and like they're new. Simulate, because you got to remember we're on a budget. Anyways, and then we will get some new bushings here. Those aren't too terribly much, as well as these sway bar end links. I really don't want to put the old sway bar end links with those nasty bushings back on the lower control arms, so we just have to fit that in on the budget, and it's gonna look primo. So next up, we're gonna plug this in and we're gonna just see what kind of a difference it will make in the beginning, and we might leave it like that instead of painting it, because then if we paint both of those, I have to buy more paint, and well, this is a budget build. I don't have endless money. So with that being said, if it looks really nice, just kind of polished up, we might leave it like that. It might look good. So we're just gonna go ahead and do a little bit right here so we can see the difference. I gotta admit, my dad is quite a bit excited for this. All right, y'all, look at this. This is, so we have an old wheel on there for this polisher or whatever you want to call it really, but check out the difference. That's not too bad. We're gonna get a new wheel so that way next video we can polish this up really nice. We have the whole tension arm here as well as the other one, so it's gonna look real good. All right, guys, that effectively ends today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Wanted to get a lot more done than what we did. The problem is, well, honestly, most of you don't even care, but I'll say it anyways. I run a full-time business aside from YouTube, and honestly, it has been life-sucking lately. There's been a lot of problems going on, and I'm not telling you guys this to complain or anything like that. I'm greatly appreciative of everything, and I never want to share negative energy on my channel, but sometimes life happens, and I've been meaning to get back to this Ford so much sooner, but you know, again, like I said, life happens. Anyways, thank you so much for all the subs. We are at 394 as well, almost to 400. That's my next goal. Thank you so much for the subs so far. Y'all have a great day. Peace.